Since the dawn of time, mankind has been trying to invent things to impress the ladies. No invention more potent than the electric guitar. So today I'm going to go through the electric guitars that I own, talk about them for a little bit, and play them. And we're going to start with this Fender American 1962 Reissue hot rod Strat. So this is kind of like a pretty faithful recreation of the very famous 1962 Fender Stratocaster, but with some modern upgrades and stuff too. The story behind this is I was working at Guitar Center in Las Vegas, and we had one of these in, and we had it in like the vintage room or whatever. So I kind of played it, and instantly, like the first second I played the neck, it just sounded like the most strattiest Strat I've ever played. And I kind of grew up just playing a lot of Hendrix, and Hendrix was like my main guy early on when it came to electric stuff. And this one just kind of had the best of all worlds. Now, the neck is super thick. Like, this is like a baseball bat neck is what they call it. So it probably doesn't have the best playability out of the electric guitars that I own. But for whatever reason, like, playing any kind of Strat just always feels like home to me, even if this isn't like my main number one guitar. So again, there's just 3 of the American vintage Fender single coil pickups. So the neck one actually I think sounds a little fuller to me than the American Standard Strat. So I kind of like the neck pickup on this better. The bridge is super bluesy, and right in the middle position is where you get like really like the kind of spanky Strat tone. So 62 American vintage standard, well, not standard, hot rod, right? I love the tuners on it, the go-to vintage tuners. Definitely, if you ever get a chance to upgrade your guitar with those, I'd highly recommend it. It makes changing your strings a lot easier. All right, so this is my Gibson ES335, and it's often confused with a 335, which is actually a much more expensive guitar. But for a while there, they made a 333, which is just kind of the same thing, but it has like a lot of things that are cheaper for manufacturing. It's still made in the US, but it has a backplate, whereas the 335s don't. The 335s are a solid piece of wood, so there's a backplate. The pickups are a little bit different than what comes stock in the 335, but I actually switched out the neck pickup for a classic 57, which is one that comes in the 335. So I got this secondhand, and it's got some weird things about it. Like they put like a BB King plate on here. I think the guy was lefty because he drilled a hole here. It's like a really small hole, so it's not too big a deal. But I think he put like a pickguard on the opposite side. I don't know, whatever. It still plays pretty good, and I mean, it just sounds awesome. Like, you're gonna hear the neck pickup in a second. But yeah, it's like a great jazz guitar, but even then, you can still use it like for rock or pretty much anything. You may have seen this one before. We've talked about it a little bit on the channel. This is the American Standard Telecaster that I bought and had chalk painted. And it really just, you know, if you don't know about Telecasters, I think they're kind of known as like the player's guitar. And I never really understood what that meant. I always thought when I was first starting out, every time I play a Tele, it always felt a little too like a little too twangy and poppy. But the better I actually got, and then when I revisited the Telecaster, I totally understood why some of the best players out there love Telecasters, is because there's something about the way the pickups react and the combination with the neck that you can really kind of mold the guitar into getting a different sound just by doing like different techniques with your hands, right? So if you want it to sound like really like kind of country, you can kind of do that. You can kind of open it up and get more of like a rock. So again, it's a very versatile guitar, and that's why you'll see them in every single genre. Again, so this is, I think, a common theme for a lot of these guitars are that they are made in America, which isn't necessarily like a necessity, really. But for me, I've just found that across the board, the quality control is a lot better, which isn't to say that you can't get an awesome guitar made overseas or something like that. But, you know, just from my own personal experience, the American stuff tends to just stand the test of time better. Like I had a Mexican Fender Strat that I played. That was like my first like real guitar, and I played that for probably like 6-7 years. But after that, it was really just kind of worn out, where like it needed a lot of work with the electronics and stuff like that. So I'm a big fan of the American-made instruments, but you know, that doesn't mean you can't get a cool instrument from a different country. So this is my Ernie Ball Music Man Albert Lee HH. I would say this is probably my primary guitar. Out of all of them I have, pretty much out of every electric guitar I've ever played, the neck on this thing is the best playing neck for me personally that I've ever tried out. The Annie Clark St. Vincent Signature Music Man, which just came out a little bit ago, actually uses the exact same neck from this on her signature model. And if you ever get a chance to play a Music Man guitar, check it out because the necks are just awesome, right? I bought this in like a late night eBay binge where I thought I had lowballed this guy at a shop and he just accepted it, and I was like, wow, I gotta like scramble to make some money. But anyways, this is probably just my favorite guitar. I mean, all around it sounds great. You get kind of like an array of tones. You can kind of make it sound kind of spanky, but it still has like a good amount of output because they're humbuckers. So just a really versatile guitar. Again, it's probably my number one. Yeah, and really every single Ernie Ball Music Man guitar I've played sounds fantastic. Albert Lee, honestly, I didn't even know who Albert Lee was until I got this guitar, and then I looked it up. It's like, oh, this guy's like a legend, whatever. So yeah, I'm definitely glad that I checked this out because now it's kind of become my primary thing. Last but not least is this Schecter Diamond Series Hellraiser, and Schecter is a company that dollar for dollar makes like really incredible guitars, and they're good for more than just metal, stuff like that. But I really needed something that had a Floyd Rose, and this is just something that, again, I got like a really awesome deal on, and you can find Schecters for super cheap, and I mean, they're quality guitars. This has EMG 8185 active pickups in it. If you don't know what active pickups mean, it means you need to put a battery, a 9-volt battery to get them to work, but they have a much higher output. So that's why like a lot of like metal and shred guys like them, because the output is so high, the gain is awesome. But also too, in a clean setting, the EMGs are really super clean. So if you don't like the noise that like a single coil pickup gives you, maybe try a set of EMGs because the ceramic stuff is like really awesome.